Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Dumpster Fire Abortion Shit Show. With your hosts, Mike Walters. T-Roy's in the house. Troy Courtney.
Hey, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I'm well. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, yes.
Yeah.
And as usual, our main guy here, 3G himself, Greg Henson. Where are you, Greg? You there?
Boys, how are you?
Very good, buddy. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I was hoping you guys would get this shit show fixed from last week.
Yeah. I'm hearing rumblings. I don't want to point fingers, but I'm hearing the blame lies on your end. I don't know. I'm not.
You think so?
I don't know what kind of shit service you have going on at home. It seems to work when you're in your office, which it appears you're in your office again today.
Oh, but my friend, I was in my office last week as well.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I was.
Correct. The exact same backdrop.
Really?
Yep.
I
That's just the shit piling up behind me.
Okay. All right. Yeah. What do you got? A Sports 910 radio back there sign?
That's an old logo for my sports station. And then that other thing is an old advertisement. And then the other one is my morning guys cover of a magazine and then a radio.
And then a radio. All right.
Yeah.
Are you happy with the state of radio, by the way?
Well, my radio, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with the state of my radio station.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I feel like radio is making a lot of the same mistakes that it made 10 years ago.
Like what?
Just companies getting in over their head and things like that. And I think that affects a lot of people. I think when you talk about the state of radio, what is it anymore? Are we hosts? Are we podcast hosts? Are we influencers? I don't really know anymore where it is. Where it's just in a stage of real transition, which I'm fine with. It's just that we got to nail down what we are and where we're going. I think in a lot of ways.
Well, it is a weird thing for guys like us that spent our entire careers in radio. And now doing something like this where you really don't have to answer to anyone, and answering to anyone would be people like you, the boss. I don't get called into the principal's office anymore for anything. It's just kind of a weird thing, but it's also weird because you had to earn your way into radio before, where now this new medium of podcasting, you can just do it. You can just, you know what I mean? It's like, anybody
the problem
can do
is
it.
With no barrier of entry, there's billions of podcasts out there.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah. And I don't see that going away at all.
No. But a lot of them, a lot of folks won't get heard, which is probably how it should be. Because I'm of the belief that most people shouldn't have a voice.
Yeah.
Because
Into that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like AOC shouldn't even have a voice. She's insane.
Yeah.
No, there's a whole undercurrent of people who don't deserve to have their voice heard. Sorry.
Yeah. And they really, I'm shocked at how many of them really think their voice should be heard.
Yeah. No.
It's remarkable. This YouTube generation, like, film everything you do and post it for the world to see.
Yeah, they just like to hear themselves talk.
Yeah.
It's not about what they're saying. It's just they're saying anything.
Yeah.
Or if you're doing something interesting, I'll watch you. Like, there are some YouTube channels I enjoy more than TV.
Yeah.
I like to watch the van life guys. I don't know if I've ever told you that before.
No. What's that?
Guys who live in their vans, guys and girls who live in their vans and just travel around the country. And they got these tricked out vans, and it's great.
Yeah.
They have their dog, and they have some of them take their kids on the road with them. It's really cool.
And
but I watch that every now and then.
What's the point of going on the road? Are they just to be in vans and broadcasting?
Yeah. No, they're nomads. They like to be in a different place, every day and see the world, which is exactly what I'm doing once I retire.
There you go.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I know there's some weird ones out there. I drove cross country with a buddy of mine from Arizona back to Michigan, and he was like, "We got to stop." I can't remember what state we were in.
Oh, like Missouri or something?
Missouri, yeah, it was something like that.
Arkansas, somewhere out that way.
Yeah.
Oh,
and it
Jesus.
just happened to be off the beaten path by a couple miles, so it didn't really hold us up. But it was these guys doing a YouTube channel, and they were building a massive boat, and they were documenting it piece by piece, like every nut and bolt they built. And it's this gigantous ship. And they took us on board and gave us a big tour. and it was to do like research around the globe for free for scientists. They could use this giant boat. Looked like a goddamn.
How are they going to get it to the water from Arkansas?
Dude, they were going to trailer it out, and it's mad. I mean, you'd have to get a police escort. That's how big this damn thing is.
I thought you were going to tell me they were just going to wait for the Great Flood.
Right, yeah.
Noah.
They could do it that way too.
What's his name? Noah. Yes,
Noah.
exactly.
Yeah, but it was wild, and they've got people following them on YouTube by the millions, and making donations. It was all funded by listeners. I mean, it's pretty remarkable what's out there. I mean, you can find anything that you're into.
Well, there's Patreons for these people too, and you know, if it's something you enjoy, you support it. You know.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
No. I was going to say we're on Patreon. You know.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah. We've got a page there, and people pay monthly, and we do extra content. Exclusive content for them, and
Patreon.com/TDC podcast.
Yeah, there you go. And
I mean, hey, if you're doing content that people like, I like listener supported stuff. That works.
Yeah. Well, it really does become kind of family like and cultish. I feel way more connected to the audience we have now, no matter how small it may be or mid-level. I feel more connected to them than I ever did at the Drew and Mike show.
Right.
In a weird way.
Even though that was a massive audience, right?
Right. It was a massive audience, and you got tons of support. But this little group that can sell out a bar, if we bring someone in and you get 400 or 500 people to show up, it's like you see these faces and names, and you know them from Facebook and from emails. And
social media has changed a lot of that.
It's changed a ton, and we don't do enough of it. We need to do more of it. But it's a really interesting transitional time. But I wonder what radio looks like in 10 years.
I think radio is just going to continue to contract. And I don't think it'll ever go away, but I think there's just so many different ways to get content. Like, hey, radio's not as in bad a shape as TV is. Network TV is done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just in bad shape. And I think radio is going to be fine as long as they're on the dashboard.
Yeah.
And no one knows when that changes.
Yeah, that change will be interesting. I mean, they just took CD players out of our vehicles. Yeah. Like, we don't have that anymore, I didn't even realize it. I had a CD I wanted to pop in, and I was like, I don't know where my CD player is, and I don't have one. It doesn't exist anymore. So, what future stereos look like in cars?
My truck's a 2014 and does not have a CD player.
Really?
Yeah. That's how far that goes back.
It's pretty.
All right, mine's a 17, and it's got one.
Oh,
really?
But it's a Ford.
Oh, there you go.
Mine's a Ford. Mine's a Ford Explorer, and it doesn't.
So's mine.
Yeah. So I don't have a CD player as of mine's. I guess a 2019 or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have any CDs, so I don't care.
Yeah, and I have a shitload of CDs, and I don't care either.
I do too, but I don't listen to them.
No, they really just take up a lot of space.
But as cars get smarter and technology catches up, I think that even being on the dial is going to start being just going away.
I agree,
I know
and
it's
that's
on the
the big fear.
dashboard, but it's going to get to the point where you just automatically connect to your phone when you get in your car,
right?
And everything, your Pandoras, your everything else, your iTunes, all that is just at your fingertips. It's still in this sort of transitional period where you have to connect it, and the old people don't really know how to do it yet. It's easier to listen to the radio, but in not the too distant future, it'll just take care of itself, I think.
I agree.
Well,
it'll just transition.
And they're so limited on what they can do and what they can say, and the
dealing with the
commercials
FCC
and everything else.
Yeah, it is very freeing to do it like this and not worry about what you're saying. But I notice a lot of these shows, they're repackaging what they did in the morning and then making it a podcast and posting it like it's a podcast.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I suppose that gets you out of the reach of a tower. If you've only got 50,000, 30,000 watts in a range, by being a podcast and posting, I suppose you can get out of your immediate area. But it seems like a fake podcast almost to me.
Kinda. It's just recording a radio show.
I think you can do both. Yeah. I think you can do both. But I do think there should be some exclusive stuff. When you're on the radio, you should get off the air and do an hour of different stuff, original content that maybe it is a little edgier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely a market for it. We're all proof of that. So when you're looking at talent, and I don't know how much hiring you're doing these days, Greg, but when you're looking for talent, are you listening to different shows around the country and looking for some, young talent? Because it used to be people would have to send you tapes or CDs of what they were, where now you can almost do a search on your own. I don't know if you do stuff like that.
I just hired a guy on my sports station. It was more recommendation based. Somebody recommended him, and I went looking for his stuff, and I found it on social media. And so I didn't ask him to send me anything. I just called him and said, "Come down and talk to me," and he did. But I didn't have to call him and get the audio. There was plenty of it available, and you want him to have a good, healthy awareness of the digital too, because they're influencers now. It's not really air talent. You're an influencer, and you got to be on all platforms. So I did find a guy like that though, and it worked. He worked hard, and here he is. So and this is just radio's just one more platform for you.
Yeah. So was he a YouTuber or?
No, he was working for. He was a video guy who worked in DC with the sports junkies. And he was just ready for his first on-air gig.
Okay.
And so I brought him down here and put him on. And, he's really good at it. He was doing some part-time stuff, but just needed the opportunity to go full-time. And that's what we did. Sounds great.
Yeah.
And he does great video.
Okay. On his own, he knows how to do all that stuff.
Yep, for his show. And, it's good stuff.
Yeah, really important.
See your boy Valenti got a national gig?
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
you know what?
He's doing an NFL show with Boomer Esiason.
You know what? I think that's on my sports station because we're in the same company.
Okay, yeah, Odyssey's launching it. An NFL show with Boomer and Valenti.
Boomer and Valenti,
yeah.
Well, how do you think that'll do?
I don't know. Those kind of shows aren't really destination listening. I think Mike's better in Detroit bitching about the Detroit teams. And I don't know that he can be himself with Boomer.
Yeah.
Because I think Boomer's too worried about how he looks to have somebody yelling and screaming over him. But I think, whatever. I haven't listened to it. I think I run it at like 6 a.m. on Saturday.
Oh, really?
Here. That's all. It's recorded. That's the only slot I had because obviously we have our own programming that people pay for, Right.
So is that how that works? You get to pick the time slot?
Well, they'll just say, look, it's going to be, it needs to run Friday night from 6 a.m. or from 6 p.m. Friday night till kickoff Sunday. And you just got to find a slot for it.
Really? I had no idea that's how that works. So each program director around the country can just fall into that window and I've just got to air this hour.
Yes.
Okay.
Of that particular show.
Is that not always the case?
Well, like if you take a syndicated show, a lot of times you got to grab a feed and then pop it in where it fits in your station. Like, for example, Glenn Beck's show runs Monday through Friday on RVA. But they put together a 3-hour weekend show from the week. And they'll say, look, it's going to feed at these times. And you just set up your receiver to grab it. And then you repurpose it into the time slot you have available.
Okay. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's all automated now.
Yeah.
So because Odyssey owns this show, we're all on the same network. So they'll just, when the show's done, they'll cut it up and they'll just push it out to the Odyssey stations. So I know where it is in my carts. And so I just create a clock, pull those carts where they got to go and time it out. Like I already timed it out for tomorrow. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's easy stuff. This is so easy.
Yeah.
Intuitive,
What do you think happens? And we'll get on to some news of the day. There's some good stuff going on, but
sure.
What do you think happens to salaries going forward for radio personalities? Because when we started in the, I think you started late 80s, I started in mid 90s. Salaries got massive. If you were a big talent, if you were a big show,
yes,
you were making as much money as professional athletes,
right,
in salaries. I don't think that's the case now. There's probably
it's still
few
a
examples.
good living. It's still a really good living, but it's not like it was in the 90s. The 90s were off the charts money wise, but now it's still a 6-figure career. And but here's the thing: there's other side ways to enhance that now. Maybe you have some clients you work with that pay you to do their commercials, or you can monetize your podcasts. There's 15. I think a lot of the guys going forward are going to have more streams of income. You might get paid X amount from your radio gig. Your YouTube channel might throw off a certain amount of money. Your endorsement deals, stuff like that. You're going to be treated like an influencer.
Right. How much of that is sort of proprietary? I mean, when you're under contract with a station or a company like that, how
you negotiate all that in?
Yeah. Okay. I was going to say, what kind of freedom do you actually have on that, or how much do they own you going forward?
Well, they'll never. All you do is like you negotiate going in. You say, well, I want to do endorsements, and then what's my endorsement fee? That's money they bring to you because the sales staff gets it, and you can say, and I'm going to do this podcast and this podcast. You can monetize any of your socials. The only way you can't monetize their channels. Okay. Like RVA has a channel, you can post to it, but you can't monetize it. That's why a lot of talent have their own channels where they can monetize it. It's not much different than what you guys are doing, except you would get a salary in radio.
Right.
To do the on-air show.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's changing. The salaries are going the same way the TV guys. Like all the big TV anchors didn't retire. They just weren't going to take massive pay cuts. They just walked away.
Arthur P. was... They wanted a half his salary, and he was like, fuck that. I ain't doing shit.
Yeah, fuck you, Tucker.
Give me $500,000 a year. You can fuck off.
I'm bored of this radio station. It came out of my loins.
Yeah, exactly. And he wasn't having... I remember walking around. I was having a cocktail out in the backyard at like 10 o'clock at night. Art shit face. He's like, I ain't doing shit for $500,000. Fuck that. Just going on and on. I'm like, Art, that's not bad. You know what I mean?
Right, that's not horrible money, Art.
You want me to do an hour and a half a day for fucking $500,000? Suck my dick. Like Art.
And he's spinning records too.
Oh yeah, sort of.
It's not like,
sort of. Right. Lots of dead air.
He's not even breaking a sweat.
No, but he's a legend and he knows it.
Right. So I love that guy.
Yeah, he's the best, man. He was so cool. Even when I was a kid coming in there, he was great to us. And he's an interesting dude for sure. No doubt about it. Yeah. Do you have your 313 shirt on again, Greg? Is that what I'm seeing there?
I do. It's funny. I didn't have it on when I got up this morning.
Yeah.
But I had to pick my dog up from the vet, and he pissed all over me in the car.
Well,
so I had to go home and shower and change.
Yeah, that happens. Damn roots.
But it's a weekend though, baby. This is my Lions shirt.
Yeah, it's a great Lions shirt. What did you think of them? Be real. I mean, they played
never
an
had
Eagles.
A chance to win that game.
They what?
They never had the ball with a chance to win the game.
Yeah,
they didn't get that stop.
No,
they're 4th and 1 at the end of the game to give themselves a chance. Didn't get it.
Never had a chance to win. They got the onside kick, right? And then that put them down by 3, and then the Eagles had the ball and just ran it out. I mean, it's another fake win by the or a fake moral victory comeback by the Lions.
Yeah.
I certainly hope you're not still all bricked up.
Well, no, I'm not. I can realistically watch teams like the Chiefs or the Bills and the Chargers and just go, yeah, there's another league level there. The Lions are not at all. And
but what do you mean? Dan Campbell is so exciting.
Yeah, sure. That's going to wear real thin if they don't start winning.
Yeah.
What did I say?
Yeah,
I said,
you said it.
I said he's going to sound like the buffoon that he is. And here's the best thing. He is literally designed for soccer moms because they're all like, oh, he seems like such an energetic, positive person. Who gives a shit? Win football game. I don't care if Dan Campbell's screaming Rodrigo down the field or is talking about these nuts. I don't care.
Yeah.
Win football games.
So, well, do you think he's part of that younger generation? The Sean McVays or the guy in Buffalo, or
San Diego. There's quite a
yeah,
few.
San Diego's young guy, or Kyle
Yeah.
Shanahan. Do you think he's part of that group, or do you think he's part of the dinosaur group before him?
I think he's a part of the new group, but he can't coach. I mean, you saw more mistakes this weekend. The pooch kick was idiotic.
Yep.
Kick it deep, and then the way he botched the end of the first half with the timeouts.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not a good coach. He's a hype man.
Yeah.
He
Like
literally
Flame-
is. He's
X's
walking
and
in
O's are
going,
what's
the
going to come
champ
back
is
to bite
here.
him.
Yeah, he'll look like a buffoon very soon
You
because
think
they'll
so?
lose to
Yeah.
the Commanders this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm holding out a little hope. I love. By the way, I love seeing. Look, I know. Isn't it
What do I
cool
gotta
though?
do?
If you're going to build a winning franchise going forward, you have to get some talent in the late rounds of the draft. And it looks
Right.
like they may have done that with a corner in the 7th round and Rodrigo in the sixth round. That kid looks legit. And don't you think that helps? Like
Who, Rodrigo?
Okay, Rodrigo and who's the goddamn cornerback?
Aurier or whatever.
No. The 7th round rookie that made the squad and is seeing the field. But I remember my Niners teams in the early 80s. Those drafts that Bill Walsh had brought them all this late round talent. And that's what a lot of the New England's famous for that and the success they've had. We're so used to seeing 2nd round, 3rd round guys not make the Lions roster. And so seeing guys in the 6th and 7th round start.
Maybe these guys are starting because the rest of the team shit.
Well, that's one way to look at it.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Like, are they going to be on the team in 2 or 3 years when they actually have talent, or if they ever get any? That would be my question. Like, I don't know about Rodrigo. I don't know if Rodrigo's any good. I mean, he played 1 game in the NFL. Hutchinson looked like hell.
Yeah,
on
he's
Sunday.
getting a lot. I'm shocked how many people are like, this guy's a bust.
Well,
After one
Jesus,
game-
let's give him a minute. Right.
Yeah, I mean, give me a
I
break.
don't think we know. And he went against a pretty good player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like, let's wait and see. That would be the last person I'd give up on because of his attitude and his desire.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
He
sure.
would be the last person that I'd give up on.
yeah.
But that's Lion fans. They're all like me. They're just going to bitch.
Yeah, I actually got an email from someone that's listening, and this is directed at all of us. I am with you 100% on the Lions. I'm a self-described slappy and season ticket holder. Here to me is the major
Part of the
difference.
problem.
Here to me is the major difference with the Lions now as compared to previous regimes. We have late round draft picks not only on the roster but making a difference on the team. That was kind of my point. Yeah. Troy and I have talked about that. Previous GMs wouldn't have 3rd and 4th round picks on the team, let alone making a difference. This is the difference between teams that compete and teams that don't. This might not be the year, but keep this trend up for a few more years, and this team will be a legit competitor.
That's got more to do with Brad Holmes than Dan Campbell.
Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I do like the way they've been drafting. I think they're doing it the
I
right
hope
way.
these guys can stick, though, right?
Yeah,
When the team gets better. Because I
Yeah.
don't think it's any secret, though, guys, that their roster, especially on defense, is trash.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I look at other situations. Kyle Van Noy can't get on the starting field with the Lions and then goes on to win a couple Super Bowls with the Patriots. And now he's on the Chargers starting.
He was on the field last night making tackles.
Yeah. Laken Tomlinson couldn't do shit with the Lions, goes to the Niners and doesn't miss a game and is a dynamite lineman.
Yep.
And it's like,
And here's-
you have these people in house. What is it? Is it bad coaching? Is it not
Patricia.
recognizing talent?
Well, Patricia and Quinn thought they knew everything, and they traded a couple of those guys off, Darius Slay as well.
Yeah.
But, when you look at what the Lions are doing, I mean, hopefully, the drafting is going to continue to get better. But the other thing that sticks out to me is the injuries this team always has. Swift didn't practice today. Here we go
Yep.
again.
Yeah.
Ragnow's hurt. Here we go again. It's the same crap. Decker's dinged up. Here we go again. It's just, I feel like, I don't know if their conditioning is bad. I don't know if their strength and conditioning is bad. But for some reason, these guys who are really being relied upon and you saw what Swift can do when he plays.
Yeah, for sure.
But, apparently, if he didn't practice today, I don't think he plays Sunday. I don't know what Dan Campbell's philosophy is, but that's what most of them are.
Generally,
if you don't practice Friday, you're not playing.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's got, an ankle? Tweaked an ankle or something?
Yeah.
Which, it can nag a running back the whole goddamn season. I mean, that's the worst.
A hammy, a toe, those things.
Yes, yeah.
Just, you never know.
I think it's
a
a groin. Ragnow is a groin, I think.
Yeah, that's another one that will be there all year. Might as well kiss off the year.
Yeah. Just I'd rather break a bone and know what you're going to do, get 2 to 4 weeks and come back than have those nagging injuries like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last thing Ragnow needs is another strained vagina. I mean, come on, man. Let's play football for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
You're a first-round pick.
Did you see Herbert last night when he took that shot in the ribs and then that he's running to the right and just tosses the ball away? You can tell he's in so much pain.
Yep. And then
remarkable.
He drove him down the field. He was great last night. Him and Mahomes, though. Those are two great young quarterbacks.
Yeah, for sure.
We were just talking about that. The future of the league
is in good hands.
It's really exciting with some of these young quarterbacks that we got going on. The Burrows, the Herberts.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of the passing of the guard, but you never know what you're going to
get. When I'm looking at my 49ers Twitter feed, here's what they're doing now, because they're all trying to make excuses for Trey Lance. Obviously, anyone who doesn't give 100% respect to him is a racist. We obviously that's true. But they're all saying,
even though you might love Lamar Jackson.
Exactly. It doesn't have to make sense, Greg. You know that.
Right.
So if you've got any critique of Trey Lance at all, you're obviously a racist, which I accept. But they're trying to say, hey, look at Josh Allen's first. When he was 22, he threw 53% completions. He sucked. Mahomes, when he was 22, he wasn't even on the field yet. And they try to list a comparison. But I'm sorry. When I saw those guys take the field the very first time, you saw the potential, right?
Oh, you can tell, yeah. I mean, I don't...
a lot of these guys, you know it. You know it when you see it.
You do.
Yeah.
Hey, the minute I saw Goff run on the field, I knew we were good.
What was your relationship like with the Lions when you were running sports radio in Detroit?
They hated me.
Yeah.
I mean, they tried to pull my credentials, me and Regner, because we do the post-game show and just trash them.
Yeah.
And I also had a William Clay Ford segment where he was portrayed as a drunk, which he was. And he'd call in and he'd be drunk and smoking cigarettes and stuff. And
hell yeah.
But I thought it was a great bit. Like, he never called me by my name. He always called me Baldo. Hey, Baldo. And remember when they were going to ban booze in the Silverdome?
No.
I remember that.
Yeah, they were going to ban liquor sales like in the 90s. Fights.
Yeah.
Well, he called in the day after they talked about it, and he goes, "We're going to ban it everywhere, but the owner's suite, Baldo." And then he'd be hacking up a lung and stuff. They got pissed. They threatened to pull Ford money.
Really?
Oh.
So what do you do with that threat looming over your station? I mean, if you're the big sports
I stopped
station in
doing
town,
the fucking bit.
yeah, you did. Yeah, that'll work, right? You don't have a choice.
Yeah, it can't cost money. Even though I said to him, look, this character actually makes your dad really relatable, because I think it was Bill Keeneston Jr. who called.
Yeah.
I said it makes him relatable. It makes him fun. I mean, everyone knows he likes to have a good time. I mean, every time you see him, he reeked of gin or Tanqueray cigarettes. But whatever. I mean, so we pulled it. Yeah, there were times where we had to pull, like when we did the Pizza Man song, they threatened to pull Little Caesar's money, and I think on that one we told them to keep their money.
Really?
But here's what they do. Then they say we'll pull it from the other stations in the cluster. So it's really heavy-handed bullshit, thin-skinned stuff. Yeah. The Tigers were the worst, though.
Okay, I was just going to ask you, who was the worst franchise to have to deal with when you guys got on them?
Well, the Tigers had this real dipshit in the front office named Jim Stapleton. I'll tell you how fucking dumb he was. When I was at XYT, we had the Tigers, right?
Yeah.
Well, one day he called me and he said, "You're on the air trashing the Tigers right now. What the hell? We're teammates. We're on this." I said, "Brother, your game is on the air right now. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He was listening to DFN and called me. And I was I said, we're airing the game. I mean, this guy was a real dumbass.
Yeah. What was the best franchise to work with? You know, when you're talking about the big four.
Without a doubt, the Pistons and the Red Wings.
Pistons
The
and Red
Pistons
Wings?
are great. Yeah, the Pistons with Tom Wilson understood that there was going to be criticism when you weren't doing well.
Yep.
And so you know what he did? He'd go on the air with you.
Yeah, he loved going on the air.
You could call him, and he'd come on, and you could ask him anything.
Yep.
Tom Wilson was smart as hell, man. He was like, yeah, we're not very good right now. I get the criticism. You know, I mean, but they were so thin-skinned. They were the easiest ones. The Red Wing players were the easiest ones.
Easiest,
the
by
front
far.
office. Right, they're great. All those guys want to do is have a couple of Labatt Blues and hang out. They're great.
100%. You're not like I can still call most of those guys now and get them on the air within a day. You know, if I want to talk to Draper, McCarty, you know, any of those guys from those winning franchises, hell, they used to call us.
They used to call DFN too.
Yeah. Awesome to work with. Tom Wilson, every single year, like he loved being on air. He'd want to come in studio with us. I think he would go. Did they own? Was that all part of Pine Knob too?
Yeah, Pine Knob. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say he would come on every year and want
when
to
the
come
schedule came out.
When the schedule came out, yes, he probably did it with you guys too, where he would go down
he
all
made
the bands.
Rounds.
Yeah.
Yep, he made the rounds. But I was kind of like, that was something cool every spring was to have him on. He'd come in and I'd go, okay, so after Eddie Money, who's next?
Exactly.
Because Eddie opened it every year. That was another guy who every year he came in.
Yeah, exactly.
Did he come in with you guys?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, my God, he was great. He was so great.
Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, there's so many parallels. It's awesome. Why don't we touch on your Wolverines? Who do they got tomorrow?
Cripes, UConn. Nobody.
Nobody. Yeah, their season doesn't start for a few weeks, really.
Well, it's funny because they're getting trashed for having a weak schedule, and I'm thinking, anyone look at Alabama's schedule outside of Texas? They played Austin P.
Yeah.
Louisiana Monroe and some other fart, and
they almost lost.
And everyone's trashing Michigan. Yeah, I know. And what I'm telling everyone is the next 2 years, Michigan didn't schedule anybody. But, they did. Colorado State was above 500 when this game was scheduled in 2017. They were like 9-5.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're so far out in front of these things when you have to schedule these.
Yeah, they're too far.
Yeah.
That's right. They're too far, man. And all three of them, they got lucky. All three of these teams fell off the face of the earth the same year. Mm-hmm. And then and they canceled the UCLA series. Or somebody did. I don't know which side. And I don't think the Texas and Oklahoma series will ever happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Those are on the schedule for the coming years. And Notre Dame's gone. So, it is what it is.
Well, what do you think of the merger? That's still a go, USC and UCLA joining the Big Ten?
Yeah, I think it's great. I love it. If we're gonna make super conferences, be the biggest, baddest super conference, and grabbing UCLA and USC it's killer. I don't think they're done though. I really don't. I think they're going to still look at that San Francisco market and maybe Seattle.
What do you got there?
Well, you got Stanford and Cal.
Oh yeah. Okay.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
And then, well, here's the thing: you got to bring $80 million or more in TV money before you can join the Big Ten, or you got to take a prorated share because. Right now, every school is getting between 80 and 100. You need to bring equal or better value, which is why Rutgers is in, which is why Maryland is there. Seattle's market 11. They may take them just because it's still a growing market. San Francisco's market 5. So those are the two really only markets left, other than Miami and Florida State.
So how does Rutgers or Maryland generate $80 million in TV revenue?
Oh, because the Big Ten Network gets $1.50 for every cable subscriber in that market, whether you watch the channel or not.
Really? Wow.
So a month. So if there's 13 million people in the New York market, every month it's $13 million.
Wow. Okay.
Every cable company in the Big Ten footprint. I think the Big Ten Network's one of the more expensive networks behind ESPN. So every TV Whether you're a 90-year-old Jewish grandma on Long Island or, you know, a 25-year-old college sports fan in Manhattan is paying $1.50 a month for the Big Ten Network. That's why Rutgers brings value. That's why Maryland brings value. And now it's with streaming too. Like last night's game on the NFL game was on Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't think that's not coming.
Oh, yeah. No. It's going to be really interesting because you had mentioned cable TV, I think, earlier. I have DirecTV simply for the ticket. So
you don't need it.
Well, I have for 25 years because I want to watch the Niners game, obviously. That's not always televised here locally. So
Why
I don't know.
Talk to your buddy Greg about getting it for $30 a month on your Amazon Fire Stick.
Really? Is that what you're
Call
doing?
me. That's what I do. That's how I watch the Lions every week. It's every channel in America. You could watch the local Niners broadcast if you wanted to.
Okay, hold on.
I watch Detroit. I watch Channel 7 News all the time in Detroit from Richmond. It's on a Fire Stick. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Off air, we're going to have to discuss this because I'm paying.
I don't even know if
$300
it's legal or not. Oh my God! I can save you a ton.
There's something else
money.
like the Smart Box or something that's probably along the same lines. That's basically the same deal.
It's a great deal. And then once you do that, you download a couple apps. You can watch first run movies too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're changing my life now, sir.
Oh, those unlocked Fire Sticks, man. That was the thing. I thought they were cracking down on those though, like scrambling them or whatever they were doing to try and nix that stuff.
I'm having no problems with mine, man.
Good to know.
I'm having no problems.
Well, it would be a real kick in the dick if you know I do that and then they scramble it on Sunday morning and I'm left scrambling for my game, you know. But
problem is the Lions aren't worth it. If I lost them, whatever.
Yeah.
But I get to watch them on that, and it's $30 a month.
Wow. Okay. Well, we'll talk more off the air. Hey, what's your favorite news story this week? Because I have one that's the lead for sure.
Honestly,
yep.
There's so much politics this week. I was just thinking this. I was listening to my station, and they're all talking about immigration again. But I think my favorite thing is that DeSantis is sending immigrants to Martha's Vineyard.
Yes, thank you.
Ding.
Is that what you have?
That's what I have.
Is that what you have?
That's what I have. It's
nothing funnier.
It's the feel-good story of the year.
It is. It's. I can't get enough of it. Troy and I were talking about it yesterday. But Martha's Vineyard,
having a fit. They're having a fit.
They've already bust them out of there. They've thrown them on Cape Cod.
Racist sons of bitches. They're racist.
Oh, yeah. You know, they've got signs all over their little community just virtue signaling about how welcoming they are and how immigrants make all our lives better. We dropped 50 of them. He sent 50 of them there. I wish they'd send 50,000, to be honest with you.
And then I laugh. Did you see the Homer Simpson meme where they're holding that virtue signaling sign and he's backing into the head?
Back out.
Because they have those signs that say, this house believes in equality and this and this and this. So the funny part is I'm hearing these people say, we have a housing crisis already and we can't do this. And I'm like, oh, and Texas can.
Right. Yeah, right.
You know, Texas has 100 times the amount of people pouring over their border. Yeah. Maybe not 100, but, you know, thousands of people a day pouring over. And you're saying you can't handle 50? Yeah. Idiots. I hate those people who say that.
Ted Cruz hammered him, too, which I loved. He was like, they're like, well, we stepped up. And what we did is we got him housing and a hot meal and, you know, put him up in whatever hotel in the area and gave him a hot meal and access to health care or services if they need. Ted Cruz just said, okay, do 4.2 million now. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You know,
did you hear?
And you did it for a day, and then got rid of him.
You did it for a day and bust him out of there.
Did you hear what Gavin Newsom said? That numbnut.
Oh, he's such an idiot.
He wants DeSantis and Abbott brought up on charges for kidnapping and trafficking.
Is that the dumbest thing you've ever heard?
And then DeSantis says, I think his hair gel's interfering with his brain waves.
Well, it sounded to me, you know, so it sounded to me like that's kind of what, if you're talking about kidnapping or trafficking, it sounds like more like what was going on in Martha's Vineyard. He's activating. So they're whatever whoever guy there is activating 125 members of the Massachusetts National Guard to help with relief efforts, with police escorts and buses to the ferry port on the island Friday morning. They were all ordered to get on buses for the hour-and-a-half trip to the island of Cape Cod. Ordered.
Well, didn't get an option, huh?
No.
Off the island, you mean? Off the island?
Yeah.
Yeah. From the island to Cape Cod.
Yeah. Get off our island.
Yeah, get off our island.
Off Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
Off Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
Oh, my God. This is so much hypocritical shit.
Yeah.
It's maddening when you hear stuff like this, because you're like, you guys have no problem with Texas and Arizona being overrun with illegal immigrants, but you won't take in 50 of them to your little island?
Hey, no
Put them in the
person
high
is
school
illegal.
gym.
Yeah. Put them on Oprah's beachfront property, or how about Obama? Who's got 30 acres. 30 acres. I
Throw
think
some
it was
tents out there.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson, I think, was saying, hey, have a tent city on just 10 of his acres. You know? I mean, you see it, there's not another house around. He's got 30 acres of land.
Don't they have a fucking overpass they can throw a tarp on?
Yeah, right?
That's what San Francisco looks like. That's what LA looks like.
When was the last time you were in those areas? I think you were in LA recently, but yeah.
Last summer, yeah.
It's unbelievable. I'm in San Francisco quite often, and it's unreal. And to show pictures
or video experimental
of it,
phase?
What's that? No.
San Francisco for your experimental phase?
No, I have family there, asshole.
Sure you do. Sure
Yeah,
you do. You got something out there.
Yeah, it's quite interesting, but it doesn't even come close to doing it justice to show little videos or clips. You cannot understand unless you go there and see every single bridge, underpass. All they do is put porta potties there.
I know.
It's incredible.
And people act like Gavin Newsom should be president.
Yeah.
Look what he has done to paradise. I mean, California was paradise.
Yeah, 100%.
At one point. Now it's a nightmare.
Yeah,
I mean, I think more than ever, I think people just wish for it to fall off into the ocean.
Yeah.
You know how that was the big thing all those years? It would break off and fall into the ocean.
Yeah. Tool wrote a song about it.
Would anyone miss it?
Learn to swim.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it's incredible to see. I mean, I used to go there as a kid and visit my grandparents, and it was shocking because I knew what it's like in the Midwest and whatnot. And I'd go there, and it was just the most pristine roads, like the most pristine everything, bridges. The landscaping was incredible all over town, and now it is garbage littered all. They don't have the services to clean up the streets. It's unbelievable.
Total cesspool. Cesspool.
Who are they playing for? What is the positive for this? This can't be like the citizens don't like it. The rest of the country doesn't like it. Who are these politicians? Is it just a virtue signal? I don't understand where the win is.
It's for the AOCs of the world, because everything is about equality of outcome, not equality of opportunity. Mm-hmm. Rather than everyone raising their standards, we've just lowered it to the lowest common denominator. I mean, it's really, really sad, and
like no child
and that's
left
what
behind.
It is. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
no drug addict left behind. No cross-dresser left behind. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's remarkable to see. If you're walking through the city streets, the amount of people you'll see people smoking crack just sitting there. I was with my brother-in-law.
Needles everywhere. Needles everywhere.
Everywhere. I was with my brother-in-law. I've told this story before, but we're walking up a few steps onto a main street. We're heading to a fucking vape store of all places. Yeah. And this homeless guy is walking with another homeless person. One of them's pushing a cart, and he just stops in mid-sentence and takes a shit on the sidewalk. While we're walking, we had to walk around him as he was taking a shit on the sidewalk, carrying on the conversation he was having before. Like, zero shame, didn't even look around, nothing.
Venice Beach. I was on Venice Beach, and I observed a woman eating out of a garbage can, somebody had thrown food in a styrofoam tray, eating it, just pissing all over the place. It was, I couldn't believe it. I mean, she had no underwear on, a ripped dress, and she's just peeing down her leg eating.
Yeah. Venice Beach, that's an interesting one, because I was there not long ago, and it's ruined. It's ruined. It's unrecognizable. is what it is.
I took my kids there because, they've seen White Men Can't Jump and, all the movies that have that. And we go there and there's number one, no one there but losers and derelicts. It's nothing like, what it used to look
the
like.
80s, 90s. Yeah.
Muscle Beach.
Yeah. You used to actually go there.
Out.
You used to actually go there and see dudes just working out.
Yeah.
Like literally just lifting weights. And
that was me. Pumping iron.
Hell yeah, me too. And all those shops were open, all those boardwalk beach shops, all open and lively with families and kids. Now it's just it's unrecognizable.
Hot chicks in their bikinis and rollerblades.
Dude, the amount of smoking hot chicks, it was like a different world. And now when I was there just a few months back, now you have to search for a hot chick.
Yeah.
Like looking around, you're like,
or go to Malibu. But even in San Diego, it was like, what happened to all the tens that used to litter this beach? What is going fentanyl,
on,
man?
It's what?
It's fentanyl, the drugs.
Yeah. It's
the drugs
crazy.
have done a number on that city.
Yeah, sure has, and I don't see it cleaning up anytime soon. There's just no way to get rid of that many homeless.
Well, I mean, they have to start moving them along. We've become too permissive of bad behavior and bad effort in life. Yeah, and I joke about this, and I mean it tongue in cheek, but we need more shaming in this country.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you dress like an idiot and are an embarrassment, someone should shame you. When when you don't try to achieve, you should be shamed. It used to be peer pressure to achieve and to be a good person, to live a good life and to be a productive member of society. Now it's like, oh, they can do whatever they want, and I'm like, that's not the way it should be anymore. We've become too permissive and more too tolerant of other people's mental health and things like that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's
do you remember when you were younger? It was an embarrassment to go on unemployment. That was shameful.
Yeah.
Now it's like, hey, how can I weasel another couple of weeks?
Yeah. And the way they do it too, it's like, well, having food stamps is embarrassing, or having the EBT card or whatever.
Yeah.
So let's make it look just like a Visa, like nothing to see here. This person's just got their normal Visa card like everybody else, but it's all just food stamps essentially.
I was on unemployment for about a month in Texas, and my card said unemployment.
Really?
I was so ashamed. I'm like, I got to get a goddamn job.
Yeah.
It was so embarrassing.
Yeah, you would think.
But that's the only time I've ever had to really collect.
Yeah. Well, so many people look at it as free money, and okay, I don't ever have to do anything again.
Free money's not. There's no such thing as free money. It's our
tell
money,
that to them.
Taxpayer money. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other very troubling aspect about this is if you look at the school system, they are openly bragging and proud that they're creating activists. Like that's what this country needs, is more people just bitching about something they haven't achieved.
It's a new profession.
Yeah, or destroying something they had nothing to do with creating.
Right.
It's almost
it's a pandemic.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say it's a pandemic of the underachieving talking shit about the people who have achieved.
Right.
And I'm fascinated by that. How dare somebody who actually has achieved something in their career and their life have to listen to some little idiot who's never done anything? Yeah. It's fascinating to watch. I don't have any time for that. Yeah. If you've not achieved anything, built something, or been part of something greater than yourself, then I have no time for you. Yeah. That's just it's bullshit, frankly.
And just finding excuse after excuse of how to say the greatest people of all time, the people we revere and have statues of for what they did. Find a way to make it like, oh, the only reason they got there is because of some overwhelming privilege they had, or racism caused it. And it's like, okay, nobody was able to do something good, even in those really difficult times when the reality of the world was slavery. And it's like, this country cut that shit off. These people may have owned slaves. Yeah.
Yeah, we lost 500,000 people to stop slavery.
Right. First country to do it.
Yep, and it's funny because somebody was saying the other day slavery was 400 years long, but really only about 100 in the United States from the time, or 70 years. I heard that just the other day, and I haven't fact checked it yet. But if you think about it, slavery ended in 1865. We became a nation in 1776, so it's about 75 years.
Yeah.
It still goes on all over the world.
Yeah, and that's absolutely right, Troy. The slavery is all over the world.
Were selling Africans to Europeans.
Yeah, yeah,
because they were
and
trying
Asian
to keep
markets.
Them. Yeah, and the other thing too is a lot of times when you think about slavery, like yesterday, I saw this TikTok of this young Indian girl talking about how colonialism makes her fat.
Of course.
And she walked this thing all the way around to the fact that
no, sweetheart, donuts make you fat.
Right. Oh no, she says that her people were forced out of India because of colonialism, and they came here into a starch-rich country that eats poorly. And I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, I had to turn it off. I'm like, this is just, it's a step too far for me.
Yeah, you can't make any sense of it. There's the lack of shame is impressive. It really is colossally impressive that you've got these people to believe they're owed something that they didn't contribute to. I know how pissed you get about the student loan relief. It's just
that's one that really gets me.
Yeah. I was talking to a couple buddies of mine after we did that show, and they were as hot as you were about it. You know, because they paid for their own college. And they, it's an insult.
Well, the fact it's completely insulting. It's really reallocation of money, from the poor to the rich. I don't know. It's just I don't even know. I don't even know what to say anymore because what's up is down and what's down is up in this country right now.
It's so funny. Some of the people that I know, obviously with a career in radio, I know a lot of guys that can talk for a living and are never short on opinions. But I am shocked at the likes of the Drew Lanes or the Greg Hensons of the world who just go, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. You know what I mean? Like, oh no, did we lose Greg?
It's uncharted territory.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, I thought he fell asleep.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I got a text from the boss, man.
I don't know if
sorry,
you heard what
I got to make sure I do my job.
No, I thought you were frozen. Yeah. No, did you hear what I was saying, though? You probably didn't. You were zoned out.
No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, with a career spent in radio, there's plenty of guys that I know that talk for a living and are never short on opinions.
Right.
Which is why it's so mind-blowing to me that when I meet up with Drew Lane or I'm talking to Greg Henson, you guys are saying the same thing. Like, I don't know. Everything's backwards and I don't know what to make of this. Like, people that are paid for a living to give their opinions on stuff, this is so backwards and screwed up that even the best talkers I know don't have an opinion. They don't even know what to say.
Well, it's hard to come up with an opinion when you don't know what the baseline is. And we can't agree on the basics anymore.
Right.
Like unemployment, or not unemployment, inflation is at 8.3%. And Joe Biden has a party to celebrate it.
Yeah.
The same day the market's down 1,300 points, he's got James Taylor singing a drug song on the South Lawn.
Drug and
I'm
suicide
thinking to myself,
song.
Yeah. And it's unconscionable. You're sitting there thinking to yourself, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But it's every politician now believes branding's more important than
substance.
Do you remember when ratings would come out and your sales manager would say, get the story out first?
Yeah.
Remember that? We would always be like, hey, here's our wins and why we're great. Yeah. That's all they're doing now because there's so many people who believe it and don't even do a modicum of reading about it. Like anyone will tell you the economy is in bad shape and heading for a cliff. Yeah. But yet what the left has done is tried to redefine what a recession is. We're in one. We know it.
Yeah, of course we know
For
it.
For 100 years, it was 2 quarters of negative growth.
Yes, yes, and you look at he's taken a bow and a victory lap over gas prices dropping 40 cents, and you're like, hey asshole, they went up $2.50 on your watch. So a 40-cent relief is still a $2.10.
Don't forget, the president doesn't make gas prices either.
Right.
So
Oh, only when they go down. That's a great point.
Yeah,
That's a great
only when they go
point.
down. Yeah. Only when they go down.
Well, somebody asked him about, asked his energy secretary or somebody about it, the guy who got up there, and it was just word salad. Rather than going, look, none of us have anything to do with gas prices, although they do, because it's their energy agenda causes it.
Sure.
I mean, ask Europe. People are buying firewood again.
Yep.
Because they're worried about not having enough energy this fall and winter. Mm-hmm. So that's where we're heading, though, man, because the assault on organic fuels is a problem, and it's going to continue to be a problem. Yeah. I mean, how are you going to heat that mansion if you don't have any organic fuel?
Exactly. It's not going to happen.
Whatever you do, send CC to me. I'll keep her warm. That's my girl.
Yeah. She would love that, actually. She would love that.
You need to get her another one.
You know what? I've thought about that. I think what I'm going to do is when she gets old, I'll get one so that the blow of CC passing will be lessened. Yeah. You know, I think that's the route I'm going to take.
That's adorable. You think you're going to outlive the dog?
I know.
That's the auxiliary dog.
Yeah.
The other guys who do that.
We've only got a few minutes left, Greg, but I did want to talk to you about some of the other things that we're seeing in this backward, upside down world, and that's stuff like GoFundMe, being able to make decisions on whose thing stays up and whose gets banned, and you can point anecdotally to, this leftist group got banned too. And it's like, yeah, but we all know what's going on. Well, here's one.
Social media, period.
Right, exactly. Here's one, Antifa. An Antifa member took part in a violent May Day riot last year, staying out of jail. Phoebe Loomis, 38 years old. You're 38 years old and you're playing dress up and running around smashing business windows. You're a fucking loser is what you are. You have lost at life.
And we don't punish these people.
No,
we bail them out.
Yep.
Right. So Kamala does.
Kamala does personally. She pled no contest, first-degree criminal mischief for a role in destroying a downtown Starbucks at an organized Antifa riot on May 1st, 21. She was with a group of 100 Antifa members who gathered with riot gear and shields at a downtown park before launching an attack on City Hall and nearby businesses. Several members of the crowd used umbrellas to block the police. Loomis was arrested in full riot gear, including a gas mask, black helmet, fiberglass enforced gloves. She had, an Antifa tattoo on her chest, was in black bloc uniform with which is popular with Antifa, was carrying bear mace and a steel tool. So they charged her with multiple felonies. She goes into jail. They pull her right out, bail her right out with no bail at all. She's got a GoFundMe going because they've said, the courts have said to her, pay Starbucks restitution $3,600 and we'll drop all the other felony charges against you. And so for a year, she said, no, I'm not paying that. And so now there's a GoFundMe, and GoFundMe's not taking it down. So this asshole is doing that. And you look at the Freedom Convoy in Canada, raised $10 million, shut it off in an instant, returned all that money. This is where it gets so confusing for the rest of us. Mm-hmm. Remember the bodega clerk who got harassed, charged with second-degree murder after you stabbed that attacker? That they said his bail at $250,000 initially. Yeah. His GoFundMe was shut down. Kyle Rittenhouse's was shut down. GoFundMe suspended Candace Owens for a cafe. She was trying to raise money for a cafe co-owner who called the late George Floyd a thug. They said that was hate speech. Canceled $200,000, more than $200,000 that she'd raised for hate speech, calling that guy a thug.
Unbelievable.
Anti-mask campaign raised hundreds of thousands of dollars. They said it goes against misinformation guidelines. Canceled that. Anti-vaccine mandate lawsuit. Texas nurse refused to get a COVID-19 shot. They fired her. She raised $180,000 on GoFundMe, and they suspended that. Company said her initial fundraiser to fight vaccine mandates was within terms, but when reevaluated, the fundraiser found the page updated with misinformation and canceled the whole thing.
Please.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey man, tech is run by lefties.
It's an
Yeah,
agenda.
It is.
100%.
But they're all out in Silicon Valley. Well, that's why you're starting to see a parallel economy emerge. Like you're seeing cell phone companies. If you listen to Ben Shapiro, he's telling you he's advertising for cell companies that don't give money to Planned Parenthood and don't hate your guts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There is a parallel economy growing where you'll buy from conservatives.
Yeah.
It's just the way it's going to be. It's sick and sad, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to support. But this started with the left. Like my wife won't eat at Chick-fil-A because they're religious.
Right.
And I'm like, that's idiotic. Give me a sandwich.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's people who won't do that, and this all started with the leftists. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And it's why, Black Rifle Coffee, for instance, does really well with people on the right. They're just patriotic, and they give money back to veterans. And it's like, people are so anti-American. They're like, fuck you right-wing lunatic. And it's like, okay. Guy's a veteran
it's really
who started a coffee company.
But this goes back to where we started. It's a small. We're now catering to the loud minority.
Yeah.
Any idiot on Facebook can cause a problem. Like last night, I was just listening to Clay and Buck, and Tommy Lahren was at New Mexico State last night, and a small group of people shut it down. No one went to jail, and they vandalized the building that she was in. And there were hundreds of people there to see her, and nobody thought for a minute, hey, these people have the right to hear her speak.
Sure. Yeah. Tommy Lahren's great,
looks
too.
Great, too. Oh, I love her. God, is she hot.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me read a couple emails.
I'm going to go look at her Instagram right now.
Yeah, there you go. Pull it up. I got a couple of emails for us, and then we'll call it a day, and we'll get on with our weekends.
Okay.
What do you say to that?
Sounds good, man.
The 3G show. Love the show, guys. I've been a 3G fan for a long time. I was one of the first callers when he did that Grand Rapids show a few years back. Love the old radio talk. Reminds me of my childhood listening to Detroit radio. One thing I've always been interested in was Mike's relationship / ideas on Dominski and Doyle. What do you think when they went to mornings, left their show, etc.? What did Greg think of Dominski and Doyle? Crazy to think they're still in the air in New Jersey. Do you guys know Rudy or their side characters? PSU still have a P.O. box for postcards. Yes, we do. 250268 at the Franklin Post Office. That's from Dane. I'm sure you remember Dane calling into your show.
Oh, yeah, of course. Who could forget Dane? Come on. Dane, my buddy, my pal.
Dominski and Doyle.
Weird.
Did you know them? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, they followed us for a while when we were at 97.1.
7-1, okay.
Yeah, interesting because I remember one day going in and talking to Beaver, their producer, and I said, hey, Beav, can you give me the guys' addresses? I want to send them a Christmas card. And he looks at me and goes, yeah, well, we don't do that. I worked with them. I was the midday show. They were afternoons.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I just said, you weird fucker.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck you. I left.
What? You were a super fan who was going to stalk Dominski and Doyle? Is that the...
My wife literally asked me, she said, we'll get Jeff and Doyle's address. I'd like to put them on our Christmas card. This is back when people sent Christmas cards.
Yep.
And he said, no, we don't do that. And then there were just other weird things. They were really peculiar guys. And then they went over to CSX and got slaughtered. Were you working in the building with them? When they were at CSX?
Yes. Yes, I would have been. God, dude, I have blacked out on so much of that. Yeah, I barely remember it.
They hated the audience and the music. And I'm like, then why the fuck did you go there?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I guess Dominski would say, they're not here to listen to the music. They're here to listen to us. And I'm like, oh,
yeah.
I don't know about that, brother. I mean, you're not Drew and Mike, okay?
Yeah.
Your guy whose biggest topic is a thumb a finger. I mean, come on. Very odd.
Dude, I forgot that they went to CSX. That's how little of an impression.
It was 6
no
months
offense to them. Yeah.
They were there 6 months and they had to get blown out because they were crushing the station.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, they weren't mean dudes. They were just weird.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I think I remember Rudy a little bit.
Rudy was a good dude.
Yeah,
Funny.
I think he was in a
He was a
band
funny
or
guy.
something. Yeah.
Yep. Rudy would just want to be a rock star and get laid.
Yeah. Like most of us in radio starting out. I get it. Pod with Greg. Hey, Mike, why is the show you do with Greg so impossible to find? It's not on Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Podcast Addict. Are you getting shadow banned because 3G is an outspoken conservative? With love, Connor. No, it's because we're just launching on the TDC platform right now until we actually name it. And I think, we are really leaning towards some way of calling it the
Shit show, dumpster fire, abortion
It's got to
show.
end with shit show.
Oh, yeah.
So dumpster
Yes.
fire, abortion, shit show.
That works.
Yeah. So we got to find a way to make that work. And and then once we do, our guys will take it and box it separately. Then it'll be found everywhere. So that's
We got to get the alliteration right.
DFASS.
DFASS.
Plus-
DFASS.
Plus, you guys fucked up on your end last week, so we missed the show.
Obviously.
Oh, that was the time when you were saying the Lions were going 17-0. I remember now.
That never happened.
Oh, one loss. No, it was one loss.
It was one loss.
Right. Double,
Greg.
it was 11 losses.
It was 11. Okay. That's closer. Hey, buddy, have a great weekend. Go
You guys
Blue.
too.
Go Lions.
Enjoy the game.
Yeah, you too. I'm still, look, I'm on board for another week. I'll give him one more week.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did Drew and Mike have a house or rent a house by Michigan Stadium at one point?
Oh, no.
Yeah, Matt
Because I used to
Riley.
walk by there.
Matt Riley and Drew own that house right across the street from the stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they'd rent it out to students, but they got the garage, and Matt converted that into a bar and TV. Yeah,
Amazing.
And so it's called the Little House instead of the Big House.
Is it still? Do they still own it?
Yeah, I think so. Maddie's down in
that's
Florida
awesome.
now, but as far as I know, don't hold me that. We broadcasted from there a ton. We would go there on
I'd
Saturdays.
walk by there.
Yeah, you should have stopped by. It would have been awesome to have you hang. It's a great hang. All the food you can eat, drinks.
The
you
only
can
time
have.
I ever hung with Drew and Mike were at Red Wing games. We'd run into them
Yeah,
at Red Wing games back in the day, hanging outside drinking beers. None of us were watching the game.
yeah. Drew and I ran into you in some parking lot somewhere. I can't remember if it was a concert
Yeah.
or a sporting event. But
I
Drew
think
and I,
so, yeah.
yeah, we ran into you there, and you talked to Drew for a couple minutes. You basically blew
Yeah.
me off. You were in the presence of one Drew Lane, so I didn't
Yeah,
matter.
right. But Drew probably didn't even introduce you to me.
Dude, 100%, that would have been like Drew. Yeah,
That should be the first thing you do when you come
Yeah.
up on anyone and say, "Have you met so and so?"
yeah.
And then I could say, because to be honest, I used to get you and Mark mixed up because
Yeah,
I
a lot
only
of
knew your
people did.
voices.
Yeah,
I only knew your voices, so
yeah.
that's cool.
That's so funny. All right, everybody, have a great weekend. Greg, we'll do it again next week. It's always fun talking to you, pal.
It was great, guys. We'll talk
All right.
next week. Take care.
Okay, sounds good. See you, dude.